staff have harnessed. We are grateful to the Matthews family for sharing Guy with us and for joining us in imagining this afternoon and planning this tribute with us. I now ask Mr. Cafaro to join me.
First off, I'd like to thank everybody for being with us this afternoon as we remember our friend Guy Matthews. In a couple of moments, you can begin. Ron's just here. Feel better. In a moment, we will begin our tribute, but before that, I wanted to mention just a few things. First, let me mention that at the conclusion of the formal program, we will be heading up to the Guy Matthews Student Center, formerly known as the Agent. Everybody got to remember that now, the Guy Matthews Student Center, for some food and refreshments. Secondly, I would like to thank Superintendent Connors, Ms. Dornan, and her administrators for all their support during what was an extremely difficult time for our department, our staff, and all of our students, past and present. I've been counseling now for over 20 years, and I've never encountered a more challenging and trying moment than that sudden loss of a dear colleague and friend. It's still very, very painful for many of us. I could use Guy now. Guy always knew how to make me laugh, and we could use some of that humor. Guys, for all that know Guy, really make it laugh. He had something to do with that snow this morning, by the way. He tried. He really tried. It was like the day before Thanksgiving, but the sun came out. But whenever I need a smile, all I have to do is remember some of our road trips. With Roz, with Ike, with Joe, with Skip, coaches, all those trips to Syracuse, Buffalo, Cortland, Toronto, Maritime, Oneonta, Milford, Joe remembers that, right? West Point, the tailgates with Patton. All I have to do is think about those moments and I can laugh. By the way, in all those trips, guys, those were always about the kids. Always about the kids. You're going to hear in a few moments from several people in the audience who will tell you some stories and will give you some tributes about Guy. But Guy was one of those people, he just never stopped caring about it. Just because you graduated didn't mean that he would leave you. He stayed with you. And that was one of Guy's greatest attributes. And he would go and see these guys wherever they were. He followed you right through life. It never ended. One more thing before I move on. There's one other thing that would make me crack up about Guy was he used to love to drive waiters and waitresses crazy. On all these trips, you always go out and drove a lot of waiters and waitresses crazy. Guy loved bread. Like me. We're going through like brothers. But Guy was special. No matter what, he'd always be driving waiters crazy for more bread. So I can always laugh about that. But in the end, a lot of times it would be like, former students and stuff like that would be waiting, driving crazy. But in the end, in his own endearing way, he always, and we dispel like some rumors about Guy. Guy was a very, very generous tipper, by the way. He definitely was. And he made all those waiters and waitresses happy in the end. But you know what? He was, not only was he a generous tipper, but he was the most generous person that I've ever known. He really was the most generous. Guys, you're going to hear about that in a few special person in terms of all his generosity. So, we're going to be missed, Guy. That stuff, I'm definitely going to miss a lot. I'm already missing it. Mr. Connors, again, thank you so much for what you did for us, for our department, and for our staff. Let's move on with the program. We're going to have now, the mayor is up of White Plains, Mr. Roach, will come up now and read a special proclamation, and he will be followed by our superintendent, Mr. Connors, Ms. Eller, and the president of the Ms. Eller, the president of the White Plains School Board.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, my thoughts and prayers are with Guy Matthew's family and friends in this time of bereavement. I remember being at the wake and being so impressed by the number of people, and also from every walk of life you could think of, that came out to show how much he meant to them. He was a pillar and is a pillar of our community. I know how much he meant to so many young people. I met him on a few occasions. Most memorably, when my next door neighbor, who was kind of like his son, Lucas Rapetti, had a signing ceremony, and I remember Lucas and his family telling me how important God was in Lucas reaching that success, that point in his life. And that story can be told hundreds of times by young people in our community. And it is a gift that educators have that no one else gets. I have a sister that's a teacher and a brother that's a teacher. The ability, if they want to influence so many lives, that then go out and influence other lives. And that is a power that I think is overrides anything else I can think of. He used that power, and he used it well. And that's why I say he is a pillar of the community, because all those kids that he influenced positively, all those kids that might have been at a fork in the road when they might have taken the wrong turn, that became great people, are still out here, still working. And at the end of the day, that's all we can hope for, all of us. In Ireland, if you go to William Butler Yeats' grave, I'll have to make sure I try and get it right. But it's very simple grave. It's what the inscription says. On life, cast a cold eye, on life, on death, horsemen pass by. And people argue about what it means. And there's probably English teachers in the room, so I shouldn't do this. But in my mind, what it means is we're all in transition. And your focus should be on what's in front of you today. What can I do today? What can I make better today? And I believe that that's how Guy Matthews approached life. And I think we're all fortunate that he was in our community to do that. It's my great pleasure to bring today a proclamation recognizing that, which I will present to the family. But I do want to say I think there can be no greater recognition of his contributions to our community and how important he is to our community than the turnout we have today on this cold Friday afternoon, and all the recognition that is poured in since he passed. So I will not read the entire proclamation, but I will read the concluding portions. Doc passed away October 6, 2014. He served as an instrument for good in the White Plains community. He has provided a legacy of community service and civic pride, and a tribute to his commitment to students of White Plains High School. The College and Career Center will forever now more be known as the Guy Matthews Student Center. Now be it resolved that the City of White Plains recognizes the exceptional services provided to the community by Coach Guy, Doc Matthews, and be it further resolved that this official citation be transmitted with our heartfelt sympathy to his bereaved family and all those that held Doc in high regard. So, to the family, I'd like to present this, and I want to thank all of you for coming to recognize his service.
Guy Matthews is looking down on us today. He's going to be pleased that some of his colleagues are here. He'll be pleased that many of the people from the colleges that he worked with on behalf of children are here. Certainly be pleased that his family is here. And most of all, we'll be pleased that the athletic team so I could try to understand what was it about this man that I never heard anything but positive words. Probably the best was one man named John. He had 3 brothers, and he said that his mother loved Guy Matthews because Guy turned all 4 of her sons around so that they did the right thing, and that his mother thought that he was a saint and she truly loved him. And as I reflect on that, and all the folks that are educators here, we all like to be remembered, but not everybody will be remembered for decades. Not too long ago, back in probably around 2008, I got invited, 2006 actually, I got invited to the 60th alumni reunion for the class of 1946. And when I went there, first of all, I have to tell you this story. A couple of the ladies looked at me and they said something, and they kept talking, and I went over and I said, and who are you? I said, you don't look so good. They first thought I was part of their class. but the point that I want to make is that Guy Mathew was the kind of educator that everybody throughout their life, whether the students themselves or their family, will remember that Guy Mathew made a difference in their life. So 60 years from now, when people that are out here that have already graduated, not the existing students, but you'll remember him as well, when they go to a reunion, there's many of us they won't remember, but they will remember Guy Mathew because he made a difference every day. When I go to the schools, normally when I walk around, somebody's either telling me about a problem or they're asking for something. Every time that I came to the school, Guy Matthews would be out in the hall, which is first a tribute that I just love about guidance counselors. You find them in different parts of the school. And he'd stop me to tell me what the college was doing, what a youngster was doing, some college that somebody was going to, or some parent that had talked to him. And it was always about the children. And that's why if he's here today, and his family and his sons, I'm sure that he is, he truly will appreciate the athletes being here, the students being here, his colleagues being here, and the band to hear their performance, because he was truly, as I know his friend Henry says all the time, that he came to school every day to make a difference for every child. Probably one of the nicest things I heard early on in the year, and when this first happened, I saw a young freshman girl, and she wanted to go into the library where everybody else was, and I said, well, did you know Mr. Matthew? She said, I only met him once on the first day of school. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, but he stopped, he talked to me, and he helped me, and she said, I'll always remember that man. Guy Matthews was what all of us want to be as an educator, somebody that was cared about by the students and the parents because he made a difference. Thanks for coming out today.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the board, I'm here to express our sincere condolences to the Matthews family, and just to let you know how important the Board of Education felt that we should come and say something on behalf of Mr. Matthews. It is an honor to attend this memorial for our friend and colleague, Mr. Guy Matthews. As we honor his memory, we should continue to be the students, athletes, and caring friend that he's been to all of us. Let us remember his spirit, his energy, and move forward knowing that in each of us, we carry a part of him. Just in closing, what I want to say on behalf of the board, as a parent, I want to let you